You know, there are some stories you hear over and over again, stories you think you know inside and out. The story of Adam and the angels is definitely one of them. But what if I told you that packed inside that familiar story are some of the most profound ideas about what it means to be human, about our creation, our honor, and our ultimate purpose? Today, we're going to dig deep, really unpack the incredible theological arguments behind it all, and it all starts with one single, pivotal verse that sets the entire stage. Okay, so here's how we're going to tackle this. First up, we're going to look at that foundational verse that kicks everything off. From there, we'll dive right into the big questions. What was that prostration really all about? What does it mean that we were created from both body and spirit? Then we'll explore the whole anatomy of the fall. And finally, we're going to tie it all together with this incredible concept of humanity's role as God's representative here on Earth. So, let's jump in.
All right, let's get right to the heart of it, starting at the very beginning. We're looking at the verse that launches one of theology's most profound discussions. It's the moment humanity is unveiled, and a divine command is given that, well, it changes absolutely everything.
Now, pay close attention to the sequence here, because the source text we're analyzing points this out as being absolutely critical. The verse starts by speaking to all of us, to all of humankind. We have certainly created you. It's about the creation and the shaping of our entire species. It's only after that that the camera kind of zooms in and the focus narrows to a very specific command about one individual, Adam. That order is the key to unlocking everything that comes next.
And right away, this command brings up a huge critical question, one that our source text really dedicates itself to answering. Were the angels actually bowing down to a man made of clay? I mean, was that it? Or were they being asked to acknowledge something much, much deeper? Something that Adam was just a first representative of? How you answer this changes everything about how we see ourselves and our place in the cosmos. So, let's really dig into that question. We've got to figure out the true masjud. That's the Arabic term for the one to whom prostration is offered. Was it the physical body, or was it something else entirely? This is where we start to peel back the layers and find the deeper meaning.
So the source text makes a really clear distinction here. If the angels were prostrating to Adam's physical body, that would basically be an act of worship toward a creature. And theologically, that's impossible. Worship belongs to God alone. So, the analysis argues that the prostration wasn't for the man himself, but for the station of humanity that he represented, this incredible honor and potential that God had just placed within this brand new creation.
The central argument here is that we have to separate Adam's physical body from his spiritual essence. The timing is everything. The command didn't come when Adam was just a form of clay lying there. Nope. It came after something else, something way more significant had happened. This transforms the prostration into an act of obedience to God. It was a command to recognize the profound honor that God himself had infused into this being.
And this verse, well, it just lays it all out, crystal clear. The source highlights that the command was conditional. There was a sequence. Two things had to happen first. The body had to be perfectly formed, and then, this is the crucial part, the divine spirit, the Ruh, had to be breathed into it. Only after that divine spark was added was the command given. The honor wasn't for the container, it was for what was inside it.
You see, this whole distinction between the physical form and the spiritual essence leads us straight into the dual nature of our creation. This is a central theme in this entire analysis. And if you really want to get why humanity was honored like this, you have to understand this duality.
Okay, so on one hand, you have our physical origin. The Qur'an calls it tin, which means clay or earth. This is our humble beginning, our material foundation. You can think of it as the biological hardware of our existence, the physical stuff that literally connects us to this planet.
And then, on the other hand, in complete contrast, you have the Ruh. This is the divine spirit, the breath from God that gives life to the clay. If the body is the hardware, the Ruh is like the divine software. It's the source of our consciousness, our intellect, our ability to reason, and all of our spiritual potential. It's the thing that makes us so much more than just animated mud.
And this is the key point the source makes. The real miracle here, the actual object of honor, wasn't just the clay, and it wasn't just the spirit in isolation. It was the incredible, mind-bending synthesis of the two. The angels were being commanded to respect this totally unique being, a creature made from the earth who is now carrying a divine secret within.
Now, once we have this clear picture of humanity's dual nature, we can finally analyze the role of Satan, or Iblis, and everything that happened next. Because Satan's error, his fatal mistake, was that he failed to see this very duality. He got stuck on the surface.
The text lays out this really clear and honestly tragic sequence of events. It all starts with Satan's arrogance.
He looked at Adam, and all he saw was the tin, the clay, and he arrogantly compared that to his own nature of fire and decided he was superior. He completely, totally missed the ruh, the divine spirit that was the entire reason for the honor in the first place. And this spiritual blindness, this jealousy, it led directly to his disobedience. He then turned that jealousy into a weapon, deceiving Adam and Eve by appealing to their own desires for eternity and power. But the really important part of the story, the part that defines us, is how humanity responded when they messed up.
And this is such a powerful quote that the source highlights. Think about it. Satan's response to being called out was pride, arrogance, and defiance. But humanity's response? It was the exact opposite. It was immediate humility, it was immediate repentance. Adam and Eve instantly recognized their mistake. They took responsibility and they turned right back to God, pleading for mercy. This act of turning back, that is central to the human story.
So, this whole narrative we've been walking through, the unique creation from clay and spirit, the honor from the angels, the test of temptation, and our capacity for repentance, it's all happening within a much bigger framework, the concept of humanity's designated role here on Earth. The source analysis connects the dots here, linking the story of Adam directly to this major declaration. Before we even hear the details of Adam's creation, God announces to the angels his plan to place a Khalifa, a vicegerent, a successor on the earth. So the entire story of Adam is, in effect, the inauguration ceremony for this new caliphate. Okay, so what does it actually mean to be a Khalifa? This isn't about being a king with unchecked power, not at all. It's about being a trusted representative, a steward. It means being tasked with reflecting divine attributes like knowledge, mercy, and justice right here on earth. But that's a huge, monumental role. What on earth could possibly qualify a creature made of clay for a job like that?
And here it is. This is the core reason, as identified by the source text. The ultimate qualification for this vice-regency, the very thing that proved Adam's worthiness for honor, even over the angels, was knowledge. Specifically, it was a divine, direct knowledge of the names. This means the ability to comprehend the essence, the reality, the function of all things.
So the most important point the analysis makes is this. Our qualification for this role, and the reason for that prostration, it had nothing to do with our physical shape. It was all about our intellectual and spiritual capacity. Our ability to learn, to comprehend, to categorize, and to understand the nature of creation. That was the divine gift that set humanity apart. This is the very foundation of our purpose. All right, let's go to our final section now and see how all of these powerful threads, the prostration, our dual creation, the fall, the caliphate, how they all weave together into this single, cohesive, beautiful tapestry of meaning.
You know, when you lay it all out like this, the source reveals this perfectly interconnected argument. The prostration wasn't just some random act, it was a command to honor our God-given potential for knowledge, which is represented by that ruh. And that very potential for knowledge is what qualifies us for the incredible responsibility of being God's Khalifa on earth. And the fall? Well, that becomes the first and maybe the most important lesson for that Khalifa. You have to navigate the world with humility, and you have to know how to always turn back to divine mercy. So, what's the ultimate takeaway from all this? The analysis makes it crystal clear. The story of Adam isn't just a history lesson about the first man. It's a mirror. It's a mirror held up to every single one of us. It's a timeless lesson that defines the honor we've been given, outlines the immense responsibility we carry, and reminds us that yes, we are all vulnerable and we are all in desperate need of grace.
And that leaves us with this final, powerful thought to wrestle with. If the very foundation of our purpose, of our honor, is this capacity for knowledge that was gifted to us by God, then this whole story forces us to look at ourselves and ask, how are we living up to that trust? What is our personal and our collective responsibility to actually seek out knowledge, to understand our world, and then to apply that understanding to truly fulfill our role as caretakers and vicegerents on this earth?